Good morning. In this video, I'm going to talk about calculating percent change. We're going to calculate percent increase and percent decrease. And you've seen this before. Maybe if you're at the mall, you can see like a sale where it says like 30% off or something like that. So sales, discounts, those are all percent decreases. And then maybe you're at a restaurant and you want to tip a certain percentage of the bill. So that would be an increase. Maybe you have to pay a tax when you're buying something. And so that would also be a percent increase. And there are many other examples of each. And today we're just going to learn how to calculate those percent changes. And we'll start off by looking at the rules. For a percent increase and decrease, the rules are actually pretty similar. The first step is exactly the same. You find the amount of change. And I'm going to do an example here. So you find the amount of change, and then if it's an increase, you add it to the original value, as you can see here. And if it's a decrease, you subtract it from the original value. And the example I'm using here is blank 35 by 20. And I put this blank because in one case, we're going to increase 35 by 20%. In the second case, we're going to decrease 35 by 20%. And we'll see how each of those work out. Okay, so if we follow the first step here in both of them, find the amount of change. When I say find the amount of change, I'm saying the change here is 20%, but this is a percentage. I want to find the amount. So basically, I'm trying to find 20% of 35. And we covered this in the last video, last week. So 20 over 100 times 35. And this is equal to, if we simplify, let me actually simplify. So I'm going to divide 20 and 100 by 10. So now I have 2 over 10. I can simplify further, divide by 2. This becomes 1. This becomes 5. So we end up with 1 over 5 times 35. You can say 35 over 1, which is equal to 35 divided by 5, which is 7. Okay, so this means that I'm done with step 1, which is find the amount of change. And notice here, it's exactly the same step 1 in decrease. So we know that, so we don't even need to do it in this case. Now, what's next? I have to take the original value, the 35, and I have to add the percent change because I'm increasing. So 35 plus 7 is 42. So if I increase 35 by 20%, I get 42. In the decrease, we do the opposite. We say 35 minus 7, which in this case is 28. Okay? So we did an example of both increasing and decreasing. Now let's look at a couple of word problems. This one says a bag of potatoes weighs 50 kilograms, so this is the original. If the weight of the bag increases, so we know that it's going up by 35%, okay, so they gave us a percentage, find the new weight. So we have the original weight, kilograms. The percent change, I'm going to mark the change by this triangle, it's called delta. The change is 35%. Let me say percent change. So how can I calculate the amount of change? So I have to find 35% of 50. I'll do this very quickly. And I got 17.5 kilograms. That's the amount changed. So my delta, instead of percent delta this time, I'm just saying delta equals 17.5 kilograms, and it's positive because I'm going up. So 50 plus 17.5 equals 67.5 kilograms, and that's my final weight. Now let's look at a different word problem. In this case, it says a bag of rice weighs 110, so 110 is our original. I'm just going to label it. The weight of the bag decreases by 40%. So my percent delta is negative 40%. So now I have to find the new weight of the bag. So I start off by finding the change. So 40% of 110, and I'll do that quickly. And I got 44 kilograms. So my delta will now be equal to negative 44. And it's negative because we're going down. So negative 44 kilograms. That's how much, that's the amount that's changing. And so 110 minus 44 equals 66 kilograms. That's the new weight. Now let's look at another problem. We're told a basket of goods was valued at $43.7, so that's the original, in January. The inflation rate for the year was 8%. Inflation means increase. The price increases. This is what happens with inflation. What is the expected cost in January 2012? So basically, it's 1 year is passing and the price is increasing 8%. And then it says, write your answer to the nearest cent. Okay? Meaning second decimal place. So let's add this here. So original is 43%. Percent delta is positive 8%. And so I can do the same thing where I find 8% of 43.7 and then add it to the original. But there's an alternative way of doing this. The original percentage is 100%. After we add 8% to 100%, the percent final is 108%, right? So if you have 100% and you increase it by 8%, we get 108%. So instead of finding 8% first and then adding it to 100 to the original amount, which is 100%, we can just right away find 108%. And I'm going to do this in this situation here. So I'm going to say 108 over 100 times 43.70. Okay? In this case, I'm going to use the decimal method because I think it's going to be easier. So I'm going to say 1.08, because that's the decimal version of 108, times 43.7. And I'll put them on top of each other here. So when I add everything together, I got all of this, which when I add, I get 47196. This looks like 0.6, but it's actually just 6. Okay? How many decimal places do I have? I can count 1, 2, and 3. So I have to go back 1, 2, 3. So then my final answer right away is 47.96. This got me the final answer right away. I didn't have to deal with delta. I didn't have to find how much it changed and then add it to the original amount. I got the final answer right away. Now they say write your answer to the nearest cent, because it doesn't make sense to have any value below a cent because it doesn't exist. And so we have to round this to 2 decimal places, so it becomes 47.20, because 6 rounds up the 9, so the 9 becomes a 10, and this is our actual final answer, okay? So let me write it properly, $47.20. Okay, let's do this one more time, and with a decrease problem. So a tennis racket marked at a price of $90. So again, the original is $90. Is advertised to be selling at 45% off. So this is a discount, which means decrease, right? And so percent delta is negative 45%. what is the final price? So again, let me ask you here. We're starting with 100%. Then we're taking away 45%. We're starting with $90, sure. But in terms of percentage, this is the whole amount. It's 100%. So the original is always 100%. And so we're taking away 45% of that, which leaves us with just 55%. And remember, we're taking away because it's a discount. And so all we need to do for the final, the percent final, is just find whatever 55% of 90 is. And so 55% of 90. And let's do that real quick. So my final answer now would be 49.50 because I have two decimal places here. So final answer right away, $49.50. Again, this is quicker, but you have to calculate your final percentage correctly. If you're taking away, then you subtract the percentage. If you're adding, then you add the percentage. And keep in mind, your original is always 100%. Even though this says $90, in percentage it would be 100 because that's your whole amount, your whole original amount. Then your final percentage would be whatever the percent change, and you have to determine if it's going down or going up. Okay? You have a math-based assignment. It'll ask you to not only do this method that you can see in front of you here, but also the other method with the original percent and the final percent. Okay? So do both, and email me if you have any questions. Ask for tutoring if you need it, and I'll see you in class. Bye.